the adoption of an emergency ordinance entitled COVID-19 Emergency Response Ordinance. Today's date is March 26, 2020. The meeting is being conducted remotely utilizing the Zoom video conferencing platform, with accommodations being made for those who do not have access to a computer or internet by attendance at the Springfield Township building. Now I'd like to, everybody please stand and join the Board of Commissioners for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh dear.
There we go, okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the States of America,
United States of America, to the republic,
for
stands
one nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
liberty,
with liberty and justice for all.
This is going a little bit slow because I have sort of papers all over the place in a very small area. And let's see, I'm going to acknowledge first, I believe we are all the board members are in attendance. We have our solicitor, Jim Garrity, and our manager and assistant manager, Mike Brandon. And let's see. All right. Okay, so announcements. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, I want to start this meeting by stating how very proud we should all be of the dedicated men and women who work in life essential businesses and continue to work each day to provide those services to our community. These include the medical workers, police officers, volunteer firefighters, first responders, waste collection crews, and numerous other professions. Also proud of our local teachers, parents, and caretakers who now struggle to make the best out of this difficult time. Our community and others across the state and nation continue to adjust to the daily changes of our routine brought on by the current crisis. The township is continually evaluating how we operate in order to ensure the continuity of our operation. With Governor Wolf's recent closure of all business that are not life essential and a stay-at-home order issued for Montgomery County, all non-essential township employees will be working remotely for the duration of the order. Township staff will continue to monitor and respond to voicemail and emails. This does not include our public works employees, police, refuse recycling, other waste collection operations continue on their normal schedule, and the dedicated officers of the Springfield Township Police Department will continue to ensure the safety and security of the township. If you own or operate a business that is not considered life essential, please follow the governor's orders and discontinue operations until directed by the authorities. Local, county, and state agencies have been authorized to enforce the governor's orders and to take additional measures against those businesses that fail to comply. There is a waiver businesses can receive from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development that would permit them to stay open during the governor's mandate. I would also like to remind our community that grocery stores, pharmacies, gas stations, and other life essential businesses will remain open without restriction. Residents can also go outside as long as you remember to keep at least 6 feet away from anyone you might encounter. The township parks will remain open, but playground equipment and playing court facilities remain closed until further notice in order to discourage large gatherings. If you or your loved one have shown any symptoms of the COVID-19 virus, have had contact with somebody who has tested positive or have a doctor's recommendation to be tested, Montgomery County has set up a drive-through testing site at Temple University's Ambler campus. Appointments are needed in order to be tested, and you can register at www.moncopa.org. You can also visit the township's COVID-19 resource page at www.springfieldmonco.org/COVID-19. Springfield Township will continue to do our best to look for opportunities that lessen the burden and uncertainties this current situation has presented to our entire community. Be kind to one another, call your neighbors and loved ones to check in on them or to simply say hello. The important thing is that we all stay positive and do not let fear overcome how we treat each other and cloud our understanding that this too shall pass. So now, as part of the township's advertising for tonight's emergency meeting, an effort was made to solicit public comment in advance of the meeting. Public comment was accepted via email up to 1 hour prior to the start of the meeting. The following comments were received. The first comment was from David Wexler on Valley Lane in Orland. And the question is, should the motion have a defined term length? And our answer to that would be the ordinance under consideration by the board states that the emergency declaration shall remain in effect for as long as the board of the governor, the board or the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania indicates otherwise. And then another question was, assuming the tax collector is capable of processing tax payments, how would an extension impact the discount? Presently, there is a 2% discount if paid on or before March 31st. And the answer to that is the proposed ordinance extends the discount period for the payment of real estate taxes through May 31st, 2020. And then Mark D'Antonio of Moreland Avenue in Winmore asked, we sent our payment for taxes via mail within the last week, and the check does not appear to have been cashed. For those of us in this position, does the township intend to hold onto those checks for the period of the extension or to cash them now? And our answer, I spoke with Mike about this a few minutes ago. The answer to that is we're not sitting on the checks or holding them. We are going to cash them. That is the job of our treasurer. And we understand that she is in the process of cashing quite a large sum of money and numerous checks, and it's a big job. So please be patient with that. And finally, we have a public comment from our former Township Commissioner and President James Daly of Penn Oak Road in Flowertown, and I'm going to read his comment to you. Dear Mr. President, my family and I wish to thank the Township Police Department, fire companies, and emergency services for their continued dedicated work and service during the current COVID-19 crisis. These men and women have families just like us and are potentially putting themselves and their families in danger every day while protecting and caring for our residents. We are also grateful to the Public Works Department who have continued to work during this time. They and their families too are at risk while continuing to provide us services. Further, the same gratitude applies to all of our township administration who continue to work, whether remotely or at the township site. As a resident and former commissioner, it gives me great pride in our community to see so many residents reaching out to the neighbors, particularly to our seniors, and providing any assistance they can during this time. This community outreach has simply happened naturally through the goodness of our fellow residents. Thank you for convening this emergency meeting. In addition to the required and necessary steps you are taking tonight, I wish to thank President Standish for listening to the residents who requested an extension of the discount period for the filing and payment of local taxes. I strongly request that you adopt this provision of the proposed ordinance. This move allows residents who may need it the time to regroup their lives and finances as they make their way through this crisis. If there is any assistance I can provide to the board of any of the departments during this time, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you all, and hope you and your family stay well and safe. God bless. Thank you, Jim, for those kind remarks, and we'll take all that to heart. And really appreciate your, commentary. Now, I'm going to move on to our emergency response ordinance motion. I move that the Board of Commissioners of Springfield Township adopt ordinance number 964, an ordinance entitled COVID-19 Emergency Response Ordinance, as authorized by the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Service Code and pursuant to the proclamation of disaster emergency issued by Governor Tom Wolf of March 6, 2020, and Governor Wolf's subsequent executed orders, as well as the COVID-19 orders and declarations issued by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania and the County of Montgomery. In summary, Ordinance number 964 provides for the following. Number one, declares a local disaster and health emergency within the township due to the COVID-19 emergency. Number two, temporarily suspends the requirements for competitive bidding to procure services and materials that may be required by the township for health emergency purposes. Number three, authorizes the temporary conducting of public meetings by way of electronic communication. Number four, authorizes an extension to the public for the payment and filing of local taxes, including the discount period for the payment of local real estate taxes and the refuse service fee from March 31st, 2020 to May 31st, 2020, and for the filing and payment of business privilege and mercantile taxes, the earned income tax and local service taxes from April 15th, 2020 to July 15th, 2020, and number five, provides temporary emergency procedures for the township's handling of right-to-know requests. I have one comment on the motion, and that is that the extension of the discount period for the payment of the local real estate tax and rescue service fee is consistent with the guidelines received from Montgomery County. The Montgomery County real estate tax is invoiced on the same tax bill as the township tax. In addition, the new filing dates for the business privilege and mercantile, as well as the earned income and local services taxes, mirror the extensions previously granted by the federal and state government for filing of personal and corporate income taxes. That is my motion. And is there a second to the motion?
I second that motion.
Some discussion?
Yes, and that's my next question. Are there any questions on the motion?
Yeah. So just for total clarification, the discount period will run through May 31st, and so then the face amount would be due between June 1st and August 1st, and the penalty would commence after December 31st. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
I think it's
Okay.
July 15th from April. I think isn't it July 15th? Let me see.
No, you're basically extending the discount period to run through what would normally be the face period.
Yeah, that's right. That's the discount period.
Well, it's taking it from March 31st to May 31st. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then the face amount would be accepted from June the 1st. Well, it was June the 1st. Now it's what, August the 1st?
The motion doesn't anticipate, or the ordinance doesn't anticipate any changes to the face period. You're basically going to be granted a discount for what would normally be the face period.
Okay. So everything is the same.
So the face period's still going to be June 1st.
No, the face period doesn't exist on this. It's either 2% discount to June 1st, and then it goes into the penalty phase unless we extend it.
Which we, and by the way, we could bring this back up in our workshop again.
Okay. So we're just doing this because we're not meeting before the.
We have a lag between the time that the discount was due, at the end of this week, and our next meeting. We were
Okay, I understand.
Stopgap. But then,
Okay.
if there's something else.
So you're just moving the discounted period from May the 31st. I'm sorry, from March the 31st up until May the 31st.
Right. That's right.
Right.
And nothing, and nothing else changes, whatever that is. I don't have it written down here, but whatever that is, it doesn't change. Face value and penalties and all that, I guess, sort of stay the same. So unless, we decide later to change that, but that we're not talking about that right now. So
Okay.
we can discuss all that stuff later,
Yep. Okay.
Right.
I understand.
All right, so any more questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
all say nay. No nay, right? Please record a unanimous vote. Okay, so that passed. And a complete copy of the ordinance 964 was made available on the township's website prior to tonight's meeting and is available for inspection in the office of the township manager upon request. Normally I would ask for, but I'm assuming we don't have any more questions or emails, unless Brandon, you see any floating around? You see any submitted?
I don't see any in the chat.
Okay, well, if anybody has any questions, they can submit an email, I guess, to our township, and we can clarify things as we go along and try to get back to people. I know, and I talked to Betsy Walsh, and she's on this, and she's going to be writing the proceedings of this up for the Chester Hill local, so anybody that missed it will get to see what happened here. So that's great. Thank you,
Right,
Betsy.
yeah. So that's another question, I guess. How are we going to announce this to the world?
We're going to post it on our YouTube channel. Oh, and we'll put an announcement on our township website tomorrow regarding the extension to the real estate discount period, as well as the extensions to the other taxes that you authorized tonight.
Okay, okay. Any need to advertise it in the paper, or?
Oh, yeah, the ordinance will be advertised as well. Or
Okay.
the notice of adoption will be advertised.
Mhm.
We already have that written.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be on the website.
Oh, and Betsy just asked a question. Is this meeting being recorded? Are we recording this meeting so people can watch it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's the answer. All right. Okay. Well, then, in that
Aaron,
case,
I have can I share another resident just wanted to pass along some sentiments? Can I share that?
yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So this was from Margaret Mary Burke and Chris Hester. They live in Orland Avenue in Orland, and they just wanted to share the following. If possible, tonight, can we thank Dr. Valerie Arkush, our county commissioner, for her leadership and guidance during this most difficult of times. Our local representatives, not limited to Dr. Arkush, have provided needed leadership we so need and have kept us informed via telephone town halls. I know this is a difficult time for you and all our leaders, and we want to thank you for this.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm. I would second that.
I agree.
Jeff, can you pass that along?
Yeah, I can vouch for the fact that she's not watching this meeting because she's in the next one. We'll pass that on to her.
Good for her. She's doing a great job. She is.
She is.
Here's a chat from Jane to everyone. You mentioned Chester Hill local. Will this, and then I can't read the rest of it. It doesn't.
Will this
It's
be
saying, will it be in the
Gazette?
Ambler? Yeah.
Will it be what?
In the Ambler Gazette.
Gazette.
Okay, yeah, it will be, I guess.
Actually, it will be as an ad, but it won't be as, Baird and I contacted Ryan, who actually reached out to us, told him to attend the meeting, and then he got a message from them today that they're not paying anybody for anything. So it will not be written up, but it will be, Mike, we'll have an ad in there.
Yes, we will have the notice of adoption of the ordinance.
Yeah.
Betsy's going to write it up for the Chester Hill local, but we're not going to get it in the Ambler, Peter, paper. So.
Mm-hmm. So just a quick question, do we anticipate having to do this for our April meeting?
I would assume that we would be, yes.
Yeah.
And so how will we be having the books delivered, or will they be electronically sent to us?
The books will be delivered as they usually are.
Okay. Are the commissioners comfortable with that concept?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just going to spray anyone down who steps on my porch. The host.
We have to leave it in the front porch for 24 hours?
Yeah. I mean, Tyvek is a sanitizable, material, right? Yeah.
Right.
or whatever that's.
I mean, this would, to me, it would seem to be an opportune time to go digital.
You know, let me just say, I've had some experience with that sort of thing on large documents. It's really hard to flip back and forth and find things. If you've never had any experience with that, it's really difficult.
I mean, it depends how it's set up. I mean, it's a lot of people do it, but this might not be the right time.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm the only one who thinks it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea, but let's stick to the basics.
It's going to be confusing enough.
Like, you know, these, like, as they say, you know, baby steps. We're going to, like, you know, tread into the water and see how far we can go, you know, without drowning or something like that.
Okay.
I do think it is a good idea, Pete, though, and I know that we've talked about it before about how beneficial it would be to have a lot of it digitized too for residents to be able to see some of the supporting documents that sometimes we get to see in our books that they don't have in front of them. So I do think it's worth exploring at some point. I just think, obviously, by the time of our meeting in April, it'll probably be too soon.
Okay.
Betsy's writing to everyone, how do residents access? See, I'm only getting half of what she says.
It's saying, how do you access the recording of the meeting?
Oh, that's a good question.
We'll post it on YouTube.
We have it. So it's Springfield Township. Was it just type in Springfield Township Montco on YouTube and it'll show up?
Yeah, and we'll have it on the website.
Okay.
Baird, if you click on the chat at the bottom, it'll populate on the right where you can see the history.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me see if I can do that. Hold on. Oh, hey, look at that. Wow. Sorry about that. This is new. I'm new to this. This is my, you know, I did this morning and I did it with my family, but they didn't have chats. So this is the first time I see chat. Okay. Good. All right.
Commissioner Harbison must be in some kind of bird sanctuary.
I know, Betsy was commenting on that. I don't know what that one is. There was a wren singing for a while, and then there was a robin, and then there was a cardinal, and then there was a mourning dove. And I don't know what that one chirping now is. I can see a mourning dove.
Oh, really?
See some cuckoos.
I'm not going to aim it at it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, that seemed to work pretty well. So now that we're old hands, next time we're just going to fly right through this stuff. You know?
Baird, do you want to accept a motion to adjourn?
So I will accept a motion to adjourn. Yes.
So moved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Favor? So,
Aye.
Aye.
we are adjourned.
All right. See you guys. Good luck.
Okay, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Be well.
Be well.
Be safe.
Take care.